Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
So I just want to say that I am so grateful to have found you because my most recent teacher, who has now transitioned out of the physical, he came in on a starship, and everything that he taught me is pretty much identical to what you're speaking of. So I'm grateful to have found you. And during that time, you know, his answer to everything was, you are the creator of everything.
Yes.
And
of your experience.
Of my experience. And so I created a situation for myself to learn on a deeper level, and seeing, feeling, and understanding that there is nothing but me.
Now, wait a minute.
Okay.
In a sense, yes. In your experience, you are creating your versions of everything. That doesn't mean other beings don't exist. You're creating your version of other beings. Now, there is only one, if you want to go back to the idea of the source, and everything is made of that one. But it's not about discounting that there are other beings, because there are other perspectives of the one, and they are legitimate individuals unto themselves. But what you're experiencing is your version of them, created out of your consciousness as a representation and an interface, so that you can interface with other beings, but what you're interfacing with is your version of them.
Okay, and that was part of my question, is because when I would tap into that place, I really felt on a deep level that there was nothing but me. And so the confusion was, well, I don't understand the collective.
All right.
Yeah.
When you get the experience, the true tapping into the experience that there is nothing but you, or said another way, that everything is you, you're tapping into the experience of source, of all that is. Because from the perspective of all that is, there is nothing but it. It is everything. Everything is made of it. There's no outside to it. There's nothing else but it. So when you have that experience, you are seeing and experiencing from the perspective of source itself.
Okay, awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And it actually, when I first would tap into it, it would actually create some panic in me. And so I actually had to, with my higher self, say, let's take a step back a little bit and let me kind of integrate and work through it a little bit slower. And now, you know, I don't feel the panic, but then the confusion, which you've just helped explain.
Yes, well, the panic was only your physical body reacting to the idea that when you tap into source, it can translate that as if you're annihilating the physical mind, which it's not ready to do. In other words, it feels like it's dying, and you go into survival mode. That also happens sometimes when you come into the presence of a very high vibrational being, extraterrestrial, spirit, what have you, is the exposure to that frequency can translate to your physical mind as if it needs to go into fight or flight survival mode, and it goes into panic because it feels like exposure to that frequency means I'm about to die, because it's the frequency of spirit. Not that you actually will die, but that's the way your physical mind often translates that frequency until you get used to it, until you're okay with the idea that you're already dead.
Okay, excellent. That makes sense. So
I know that sounds funny, but the idea is you never leave spirit. You're a spirit right now. You're in spirit. You're in the spirit realm. That's your home. That's everyone's natural state. You never leave it. You are pretending that you've left it. You're dreaming that you've left it, but you're dreaming in spirit. Physical reality is not a place you go to. Physical reality is in your soul. Your physical body doesn't have a soul. Your soul has a physical body within it, at the center of its being. Physical body, physical experience is a focal point at the center of your soul. If you want to imagine your soul like a sphere of energy, an orb of light, then certain ripples and patterns and vibrations within the soul can concentrate something down to the center of the soul. The whole soul remains, but at the center there's a concentration of vibrational frequencies that creates this little crystalline nugget that you call my physical self. You are a focus within your soul. That's what your physical personality is, a focus within your soul. So the idea of quote-unquote reincarnation is simply the expansion back to the soul and the refocusing of a different series of energy patterns that creates a different personality. But all that happens within the soul as if you're breathing in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, within the soul. That's what physical reality is. So you're in spirit right now. So no reason to fear death because you're already dead.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome.
Is this helping?
Absolutely, yes. So talking...
Don't want to come across like I own a mortuary or something.
So talking about the shapes and geometric shapes, sometimes when I'm falling asleep and I'm not quite asleep, actually, sorry, I just lost track. Let me backtrack. When I wake up, sometimes I will see the shapes and just...
Yes. You're in the in-between state. You're not
Okay.
fully reconnecting to the idea of
Okay.
physical reality. You're still connecting to spirit, where you may have been having an astral experience or an encounter with other beings or some such similar experience. So you're still integrating back into the focal point you call physical reality to continue on your physical path, which you agreed to do.
Okay.
But you're in that in-between state. The in-between state, what we are saying about the ending of one cycle and the beginning of another, is that you are broadening that limbo in between the two, so that's becoming more of your experience of reality too, is the in-between state.
Okay, I like that. And then on the other end, when I'm falling asleep and not quite there yet, sometimes it feels like I'm dreaming and I have like 100 stories and flashbacks, but nothing that makes sense. Am I tapping into other realities?
Well, yes,
Yeah.
but again,
Okay.
some of the other realities you're tapping into may not translate completely to your physical mind, and that's why it won't make sense. There are only so many symbols that your physical mind can use to represent an experience that is beyond physical reality. So sometimes you will have a dream that will actually, in some ways, be a memory of an experience you may have had in the astral realm or some other dimension, but there's only so many symbols it can use to represent that, and therefore it may seem nonsensical. So you have to look through the symbols and understand what the symbols actually may represent. For example, many people who do have encounters with ETs and are taken aboard ships in astral form may wake up dreaming that they got on some kind of a bus and went for a trip, but that strangely enough, the bus is flying through the air. That may be representative, not always, but may be representative of the fact that you're actually on a ship, but for some reason it was so different, so quote-unquote alien to your physical mind, it could only make sense out of it being some kind of a conveyance that a lot of people get on and that travels from place to place, and for some reason you made an association with a bus.
Okay.
So it's symbolic of what happened, but not literal. However, again, as you broaden your bandwidth and are more open to the idea of bringing in the astral into the physical and blending the two, then that's when you start realizing, oh, I'm on a ship, and it's not a bus.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
All right. Does that help you?
Yes. I have another question, if that's okay. So everyone has light in their energy field. And
Everyone is light.
is light. Okay, so, okay. Does the light dim when you are going through something and maybe in a little bit more of a lower frequency state to be working through stuff? Does the
Yes.
light dim or does it always stay?
Well, at the core, it's always the same.
Okay.
But because you are experiencing the idea of physical reality, which is the idea of compartmentalization and different levels and different shells and so on and so forth, you can experience the idea of things acting as filters to dim the light, but that doesn't mean the light at the core actually gets less. But as it goes through the filters, when you're perceiving the light from the outside, so to speak, it may be that not all the light is getting through. But that has nothing to do with what's going on in your core. That's always infinite and eternal.
Okay. Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you.
For me specifically, if you could give me one suggestion that would help with my evolution, what would it be?
Are you familiar with our formula?
Yes.
Are you following it as precisely as you possibly can?
Not as precisely, no.
Thank you for your honesty. Because if you were, you probably wouldn't have asked that question.
Okay.
So, do you believe that you can understand the formula more clearly so that you can follow it more precisely, and that will be the answer to your question?
Yes, I will try.
I beg your pardon?
Yes, I will follow the formula
Your light
more
dimmed
precisely.
a little there. Do your best.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do.
Okay.
But I guarantee the instruction manual will serve you. Because again, what happens when you're following your passion? You raise your frequency. What happens when you raise your frequency? You become a better receiver of higher frequency information. Please, all of you, do remember, you are always getting guidance. You are always having help. You don't have to ask for more help than you're already getting. You just have to pay attention to the help you're already receiving more clearly. That's all. So, raise your frequency by acting on your passion. Do it according to the way we have laid out the formula, because that's a description of how you're creating your reality experience already. Just do it consciously, and you will see that everything is connected. Synchronicity will come up, and you will be guided through life very smoothly, very effortlessly. You will have challenges, but those are fun, aren't they? Approach every single challenge with curiosity. Why is this happening, I wonder? What can this teach me, I wonder? Where will this take me, I wonder? I always know it will always be to a positive place. Why? Because I am approaching it with positive curiosity and not defining it as, oh no, now what? Challenges help you grow. That's why you laid them out on your life path. So approach them with curiosity, and you will get through them in a fun, creative, joyful, and constructive way. And you will learn the lessons you need to learn that will allow your soul to grow and accelerate. And you will be having fun in life. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I love you.